Good evening. Tonight we're going to make a wonderful pizza. But to make a good pizza, you have to make a good dough. So that's what we're starting out with today. To make the dough, we start with yeast. This is just an instant yeast by Fleischmann's. It's inexpensive and really good to use. What you do is you take 2 tablespoons of yeast, 1 tablespoon of sugar, sugar helps the yeast to come alive. And then with that, you add 2 1/4 cups of warm water. It can't be too hot and it can't be too cold because the yeast need to grow. So I'm just going to add 2 1/4 cups of warm water. 2 1/4, about that much. Now what you do is you just stir it. Get everything nice and stirred in. And then just sit it off to the side and let it bubble. That way you get all the nice flavor. This is what the yeast should look like after about 15 minutes, which is the typical time for it to let it stand. Now what I have here is I have 5 cups of flour, and what I'm going to do is just put 1 more cup of flour, so altogether we have 6 cups of flour in our KitchenAid bowl. Then I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of salt to my flour, and I'm just going to mix that in there. Next, now that our yeast is all puffed up and yummy, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of olive oil, extra virgin. Best taste that way, huh? To my yeast. These are like the white ingredients. Just add that in there. And then now I'm just going to stir that up with the same spoon. Stir the oil up in the yeast. Next I'm going to add the yeast to the flour mixture. Just do this slowly and pour it in. Stir while you go a little. Oh, dump it all in at once, actually. And stir it, fold it in, stir it, fold it in. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a knife and wipe off the spoon. Next what I want to do is put it on the KitchenAid and let that, stir that in. Just going to put it on here. And then use the dough hook. Then I'm going to raise it and put it on about number 2 speed for a couple of minutes. So now we have it in the bowl, and what you want to do is you see how it's kind of stuck to the sides? What you want to do is turn your KitchenAid hook to 2 until this is all cleared. The part around, it cleans the bowl. And then once it does that, you get like a ball. You want to put that ball on there and time it exactly 12 minutes so it can knead the dough. Hi. So the dough is done mixing. So what I'm going to do is just take it out. Take it off my dough hook. Should come off easy. Now what I want to do is bring it over to my place where I'm going to roll it out. What I want to do is I want to take about 1/3 of the dough, and what I'm going to do first is just grab a little flour, just sprinkle it on my surface where I'm going to put the dough. There's that. Put this up here. Now what I'm going to do, just kind of knead it out and then flatten it with the palm of my hand. Now that I have that, I'm going to use this, which I'm just going to put a little flour on. And then what I want to do is roll it out into a circle. Of course, it's not going to be a perfect circle because, well, perfection is godliness and I'm not a god. So what I want to do is just get it to about the size of my pan. The size of my pan is that right there. I'll show you. This is the size of my pan. I just want the circle to be about that big. I like to use pans that have holes in the bottom because it aerates the bread. It makes it so it's a nice crunchy crust and not soggy. You want the middle to be a little. That should be good enough to fill my pan. So now what I want to do is I want to grab the dough. First I'm going to kind of loosen it from the counter. Like this. And then I'm just going to slide it onto my pan. Like this. Put it over. What I want to do now is just cut around it with some scissors. I want to cut a little bit out because I still want a good crust on the outside. I'm going to cut a little bit out. Just the big excess pieces. Like this. Cut those away. Then what I'm going to do is just roll the sides in like this. Alright, now that we have this all set up, we're just going to put like a teaspoon or so of olive oil. Just sprinkle it on top like this. Just like that. That's good.
Spread it around.
Then I want to just spread it around. You can just use your fingers. Just spread it around like this. And then we're gonna we have a can of crushed tomatoes and puree. And what I want to do is just put 1/4 of this can on the pizza. So about that much. And then what I'm going to do that is just spread that around also. You don't need a lot. This is just, the pizza that I'm going to make is just one of the many kinds of pizza that you can make. I like margherita pizza, which is just tomatoes, mozzarella, fresh mozzarella, and basil. And I like it so much because it's fresh, and it reminds me of Italy. It's also the Italian colors. Oh, what I want to do first is put the cheese on. What we're going to do, just put it on wherever you want. I like big chunks, but you can do little chunks if you want. We can even do shavings, but as long as it's fresh, it tastes really, really nice. So, about like that. That much is pretty So this is how it looks after the tomatoes and basil are added. And then just the last touch is just sprinkle a little salt over. And it's ready to go in the oven at 350 for about half an hour. And there you have a perfect margherita pizza. Very Italian. So these are just another kinds of the pizzas that you can make. This is sausage and mushroom and basil. And then we have ham and olives here with basil. And then we just kind of use the rest of our ingredients on that side. So now what I'm going to do is put them in 400 in the oven. I'm going to put the 2 small ones on top first for 15 minutes. And then the larger one on the bottom for 15 minutes. Then switch for like that and like that. And then just grab this one. And there you go.